Does Hugh Freeze get another shot in the SEC? Is it plausible?
I think at this point, if you're Auburn, you've got to consider maybe going for someone who's high risk and maybe high reward. I think that maybe you do give Hugh Freeze a look. Now, the other thing is can you convince enough of the boosters to come on board with that? But at this point, we're in a spot here, in a make or break spot for Auburn. If you make a change, your next hire cannot be a mistake, because then you're going down the line of, do we want to go down a dark decade like Tennessee just had? And then Josh Heupel seems to be getting them out of that finally. I think that that's very possible, because you make a couple of coaching changes and you do so quickly, and recruiting's been bad the way it is the last 3 years, really, dating back to the Gus Malzahn era. That's a very difficult hole to dig out of. And here's the other thing. Last week was terrible. That second half's one of the worst second halves I've seen Auburn play, just the way they were dominated and just seemed to just be listless out there. But the other big issue here, let's not forget, is just their recruiting has just been awful and terrible. And it's shown no signs of improvement. And I was down there in Auburn before the game. I sat down with Bryan Harsin for about 30 minutes for a one-on-one interview for 24/7 Sports. And he kept talking about how this game was huge for them because they had so much talent and recruits coming in that this is their opportunity to finally show them, hey, this is why you should come to Auburn, because we're tough. We're getting this thing going. And then they put that performance out on the field. Yeah. I mean, you're putting all your chips in the middle of the table here, considering everything that's happened in the last 6 months there. And then you got a big game at home, and then you show that. And guess what? The back half of your schedule is twice as difficult as it is this first half. I don't see how he makes it to next season, obviously. But I will say this. I'd be surprised if they make a change during the middle of the season because of their power structure right now, the lack of one with the lack of an AD, really. Mm-hmm. I think that they'll wait and make a change until the end of the season. But you can bet that boosters and others around that program are already reaching out to people and sending out feelers to figure out who would be interested.
Hey, if you like that content, go ahead and subscribe. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, String in a Cup. As long as you're listening, we appreciate you. Go subscribe now. It's Crane & Company.